Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. So another haul video, but before I go into that, I just want to mention a comment that I had on one of my videos fairly recently, and I think it was FilmFan78, so if you do happen to be watching, hi. But yeah, I really liked his comment because on my channel before I've mentioned how I started my films by keeping a film diary. When I was just 14, I watched the film The French Connection, loved it so much that I wrote it down, and then from then on I started keeping a list of all the films that I was watching. I haven't done it for every decade, but I certainly have kept these diaries going on and off since then. So this particular little diary here started in 1983 and went to 1986. Back then I used to just log it with the name of the film, the date that I saw it, how long it was, which TV channel it was, because back then for me in the UK it was just BBC or ITV Channel 4, and then a rating. So my initial ratings used to be on a basis of P for poor, QG for quite good, G for good, and VG for very good. But then reading books like Leonard Maltin's film guides, that's when I then started changing to a star rating system. He rated his films out of 4, and that was always a bit difficult because like Leslie Halliwell's film guide was ratings out of 5. So sometimes I would find myself doing ratings that were a little bit in between. I would do a 3+ rating sometimes as well. So but yeah, so this was my first little diary book, and I've actually just finished my latest diary one. So actually just see, can you tell which film this image is referencing? Have a guess. But yeah, this particular diary, I started this one in 2015, May of 2015. The first entry in this one is The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Saw that on the 14th of May 2015, and yeah, and this diary ends 9 years later on the 16th of March when I saw the TV adaptation of Rillington Place, which I've just talked about on my previous video. So yeah, I know obviously nowadays we can log everything on Letterboxd, and I do that as well, but yeah, I've enjoyed keeping these film diaries. I think they're nice just to refer back to, and yeah, for Film Fan's son, only 10 years old, and he started keeping a film diary. I think that's fantastic. I hope he keeps it up and finds his own way of logging films and how he wants to rate them or record things. Yeah, keep that up. It's great. So yeah, I was just really pleased to read that comment, and I'm glad he's doing it. And now on to the latest movie finds. So these are ones I've just picked up in random places over the last couple of weeks. Here we go. So first up, we've got Firestarter, the 1980s one starring Drew Barrymore, directed by Mark Lester. But this edition also includes Firestarter 2 Rekindled, reportedly not very good kind of TV follow-up version that includes Malcolm McDowell and Dennis Hopper in the cast. I've got David Lowery's version of Pete's Dragon that he did for Disney just a few years ago, featured Robert Redford in the cast. I didn't love this one, but it was certainly interesting enough to pick up. And next up is a series of westerns, 8 westerns, all directed by William Castle, B-movie director who also did a lot of horror movies that had various gimmicks associated with them to get you into the cinema. Some of his films are released by Indicator. But yeah, this is a collection of 8 westerns that he did. And I'll just show you on the back. Those are all the titles. You can freeze that if you want to go through those. I'll just show those a little bit closely. So yeah, I don't have particularly high hopes for these westerns, but I still think they're going to be interesting enough to check out. Now, director Sidney J. Furie is a director I've talked about before on my channel, but I didn't talk about this film, Purple Hearts, which is a Vietnam-based drama that stars Ken Wahl, who was also in Race for the Yankee Zephyr, and Cheryl Ladd in this as well. It didn't have really great reviews when it came out, but I'm very interested to see it. And yeah, I also picked up this, A Woman of Substance, adapted from a Barbara Taylor Bradford novel. And this really launched the career for Jenny Seagrove, who you can see here. But the cast also includes Liam Neeson and Deborah Carr, so I really want to see it for that. When I was a kid, I wasn't interested in seeing this at all, but yeah, nowadays I would like to see it. Best Laid Plans, I quite like this one. Early days for Reese Witherspoon and Josh Brolin. This is quite a sort of twisty, turny thriller. I enjoyed it at the time, seen it several times. But yeah, been quite a while since I've last watched it. Monsters, which is the first film directed by Gareth Edwards, who went on to do Godzilla. And Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah in Splash. Funnily enough, I never actually had this one in my collection. But yeah, fun movie. Although I do think that Glynis Johns in Miranda is the best mermaid movie that you can see. But yeah, this was still quite good fun. Next is this one, The Shirley. This is from the 1980s and starring Brian Brown, an Australian drama, that came out in 2 parts of an hour and a half each. But yeah, I remember enjoying this and thinking Brian Brown was excellent and getting to see lots of Australia. It's an outback drama with Brian Brown sort of on the road trying to get work and forming a begrudging relationship with his estranged daughter. But yeah, I remember it being pretty good, but a long time since I've seen it. Next up is The Walker, and this is starring Woody Harrelson and Kristen Scott Thomas, and directed by Paul Schrader. Now, I haven't seen this one before, but as I understand it, it may be somewhat of a spiritual follow-up to his American Gigolo. Charles Lawton and Clark Gable in the original version of Mutiny on the Bounty. I always like finding these TCM 4-packs. So here we have a Marlon Brando 4-pack that has Julius Caesar, A Streetcar Named Desire, Tea House of the August Moon, and Reflections in a Golden Eye. And then another TCM one of Westerns. So I do already have She Wore a Yellow Ribbon and 3 Godfathers, the 2 John Wayne ones, but I didn't have Wagon Master or Cheyenne Autumn, which stars Richard Widmark. So pleased to have these. Always pleased to find a Peter Sellers film, and this is one I haven't seen, The World of Henry Orient. And then from 1997, Francis Ford Coppola's version of John Grisham's The Rainmaker, all-star cast that includes Matt Damon and Mickey Rourke. Yeah, I remember enjoying this one. Here we have a Dean Martin double pack, Who Was That Lady and How to Save a Marriage. And then finally a couple of Cary Grant Blu-rays. We have first of all Father Goose with Leslie Caron. And then finally we've got A Touch of Mink, Cary Grant with Doris Day here. Real load of nonsense this one, but nonetheless it's still quite good fun. Okay, that's it. Just a few random finds over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on any of those. Do please join me again for some more videos. I definitely have some more stuff coming up soon. Hope you're all doing well. All the best to you. Bye-bye.